Hey y'all, it's your Butch best friend, and I am here to talk about Stogies and Stories, installment number 1. First of all, let's talk about the Stogie. We got the Florida Sungrown. This is a Drew Estate product, but it's actually originally from Florida Sungrown Farms. It's a fantastic smoke. I actually have heard nothing but great things about it. I've never had it before, which is surprising because I've smoked just about everything Drew Estate has put out. Very sweet smelling, not an infused cigar, just a sweet natural tobacco flavor. Let's cut this baby and get it rolling so we can get to the story. Nice guillotine cut. And we'll see if my lighter has any fuel left in it. Okay, we're toasting the foot. Just like you're supposed to do with every good cigar. Get that foot nice and toasty. It's a nice draw. Oh, missed some. There, we got it. So this cigar is got a Brazilian Matafina wrapper, which tends to be one of my favorite wrappers. And then it's got a Honduran binder and Nicaraguan and Florida Sun-grown fillers. And so far, absolutely fantastic flavor. Should consider looking these up. This is really good. The spice is nice. It's like a little bit of a, almost kind of a tingly spice instead of just the normal like fall kind of taste of spice, which you often get. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so on to the story. And after the end of the story, I'll tell you how much I like this. It's not going to take the whole cigar to tell the story, don't worry. Alright, so here's the deal. Somebody had asked me if I'd ever had a motorcycle when I was a kid. Yes, I have. And in fact, when I was 8, we were gifted a Honda 50, which is a little tiny street bike. Perfect for an 8-year-old. Had lights on it, and it had all the stuff for, it had street bike tires, the whole bit. Thing wouldn't go beyond 35 miles an hour. I mean, it was just like a scooter. And so I took it out, and we lived out in the desert in Nevada. And I mean, we lived out in the desert in Nevada. Middle of nowhere. So I didn't need a street bike. I needed a dirt bike. And I'll be goddamned if I didn't ride that thing just exactly like a dirt bike. I had it from the time I was 8 until the time I was 16-ish. This thing was so broke down, and I was doing everything I could to keep it going. In fact, the battery for this thing, because I wasn't allowed to buy a new battery, we didn't have the money for it. The battery for this thing, I'd put distilled water in it, and then I capped each individual little tube, and all I had was cork, wine cork. So I had wine cork in all this battery. It was ridiculous. But I used to take that thing off of jumps. In fact, I would ride this 5-mile trip up to a quarry, and they had a big gravel ramp that went all the way about 75 feet. Anyway, it was this big pile of gravel, and it was kind of ramped and flattened out. And on the other side was a cliff drop. Not too huge, maybe 30 feet, but it was a cliff drop. And I used to just wind that thing up as fast as I could, take a running start at that hill, and just jump it as best I could, and then hope to God that I landed and could brake in time and never fell off the cliff. But one time I was driving through, and I was driving my way up to the quarry, and it's all dirt roads and everything like that, and it had rained real hard. Well, when it rains real hard in Nevada, the dirt tends to pack down, almost looks like a crusty layer. And I'm cruising along, and I'm going good 25, 30 on this thing, which is fast enough for a dirt road. And I'm cruising along, and I hit a patch of soft sand that looked like it was hard packed. If it was soft, I would have gone much, much slower. And I'll tell you what, my front tire hit that sand, and I flipped completely on my head. And I will tell you this, very rarely did I wear a helmet when I was riding that thing. Very rarely. That day, I had decided to throw on, we had one of those orange, the real sparkly helmets. Had one of those on. So I started, when I was riding, bombing around, doing whatever. When I hit the dirt, I hit right on my head, and I did a little like breakdance spin, like I spun on my head. If I hadn't had that helmet on, I'd have broken my neck. Had the helmet on, spun around like a goddamn breakdancer, so it worked out real nice. Pretty much road rashed all the left side of my body, had to go home, limp home, and get the bike home, and take a shower, and of course everything hurt because I was just fried. But I'll tell you what, it didn't scare me enough to keep from doing other things that I used to do with that bike. And one of my favorite things to do was our one road would get real iced over in the wintertime. Like, you're talking 6-7 inches thick of ice. And I used to get that thing up as fast as I could go down that road. Like I said, 35 tops. And I'd wear like a whole bunch of extra layers of clothes. You just padded, like the kid in A Christmas Story, just padded. And I'd lay the bike down, and it would kind of go skittering off into a ditch, and I would fly on my ass down that road. It was like the best sled I had ever been on. And I used to just beat the crap out of that bike and had such a good time. So yeah, I've had a bike since I was 8, and yeah, I was a bit adventurous with it, but what are you going to do? That's my story for this time. I'll give you more stories as we go. Enjoying the Florida sun-grown. I really suggest picking some of these up. It's a good medium to full-bodied smoke. And this first third is smoking really nice, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. Y'all have a good day. Keep it smoky and shiny side up when it comes to motorcycles.